Hello, we're back. I was supposed to post this yesterday, but something came up, so we're uploading it today. And, well, the day you see it. And, well, we're back on the Blox Bulletin, number 21. Last one was about what's coming up and the winners and stuff. My favorite fruit was the program. The Blox Bulletin. Wait, so the picture first. E-claw on top. There's a mink. There's a fish man. I think that's a ball at the bottom. Ooze off, I think. That's a human race. No, that's a dragon race. If it's not ooze off, that's someone using Draco. The Scrapyard Titan, our perpetrator revealed. What is going on? Magnet. I hope you can go into the magnet mech. That looks like a mech. I hope you can go into the magnet mech and you can just control it. But that would look kind of junky. But Kitsune is junky. I didn't mean to do that. But Kitsune is junky, so it doesn't really matter. In continuation of my previous report in Bulletin number 20, I have continued to track the forces causing magnetic shifts throughout local islands. My findings have been unexpected. I followed the magnet shifts each time they appeared until it led me into an abandoned dockyard. It was here that I witnessed the culprit behind it all firsthand. In a matter of seconds, scattered scrap metal, broken hull plating, old machinery, and discarded gears were pulled from every corner of the yard and interlocked, engulfing the magnet user. Okay, engulfing it? That sounds like it just goes on. It just goes into you, not goes into you, goes on to you, and just you can control it. Wait, yeah, you get it. I don't know if you get it. Actually, you don't probably. Piece by piece, with an eerie precision, a hulking war machine emerged. Every joint and plate fused together seamlessly, radiating a barely contained power. Being unsure of my own safety, I made a swift escape. I learned from this incident whoever this person may be, they clearly aren't hiding anymore. At a moment's notice, they can use any piece of metal around them to construct a dangerously armed machine, and if that machine is any indication of things to come, the seas should be very cautious. That was just what is going on at the dockyard where all the metal scraps are. The expansion near summer draws. No, the summer expansion draws near. By Mokoa spell shell spine. What type of name? Okay. There's a change in the winds across the seas, and for once it isn't a storm. Word has reached the bulletin desk directly from the event organizers. The long-awaited summer expansion is finally on its way. Rumor has it that before the major summer release, the seas will bear witness to an all new event. All players will be welcome to partake. Fun. Then we will be releasing a major PvP balance that will shift the current meta. Once both updates have landed, the countdown to our next major expansion will begin if the whispers from the docks are anything to go by. It's shaping up to be one of the biggest seasonal events this world has seen. It will literally be world-changing, so prepare diligently. This expansion isn't going to be something you want to miss. Okay, very interesting. Okay, it's not even a rumor anymore. It's a guarantee. We're having a world-changing a game-changing summer expansion. A new splash of style hits the seas. Hold on, I didn't mean to do that. The little phone, iPad things. Health equals 999. How many? Why did they put so many nines? Why are there so many nines? Why did they do this? 99. Oh, what the? 99,999,000. What? 999,999,999. So they're just one away from 100 million. Okay. Melee. I think that's sword and gun. Gun, sword, melee. Okay, not every kind of strength is measured in a physical fight. The latest feature that is soon to hit player profiles proves this. A new line of cosmetic profile backgrounds will be rolling out, letting pirates, marines, and citizens alike dress up more than just their view frame. These aren't your standard backdrops. Think animated seascapes, roaring infernos, beautiful meteor showers, and other aura maxing effects that will move and shimmer well beyond my brain. Because there's so much that's happening, and my brain needs to process all of this. Because they're finally doing an update after, I want to say, 3 months. And I'm not talking about like small updates, like any update. I'm talking about big updates. The last big update they did was I think it was the hacker update or the summer expansion, the last one. I don't know. I didn't really participate in the hacker update. Not the hacker update, the hacker attack. That wasn't really an update. That was just a random thing that they did. These are your standard backdrops. I'm not even on that part. Beyond the frame. Why does it matter if your friend has every fruit mastered? How does that achievement compare to the well-animated, glimmering player profile visual that you will have? If you've ever wanted your profile to stand out and above the rest, now is the time to keep an eye out for the new upcoming backgrounds, making their way into the seas. A duel between steel and rubber. I've covered a lot of fights before, but not quite like this one. Rubber versus a real blade. That sounds interesting. It started over an argument about who the better swordsman was, and it ended with 2 blades being drawn that had no business being in the same battle. One user wielded a dark blade, one of the strongest swords to ever exist, and rare enough that most people will go their entire lives in search of such an ancient weapon. The second user's sword, however, stopped me in my tracks. stopped me in my tracks. At a glance, it matched the dark blade shape, but it wasn't made of the same material, rather far from it. It was a balloon, stretched and shaped into the form of a weapon. Somehow, holding its edge, the weapon took blow after blow in this legendary clash between swordsmen. By every law of the seas, that thing should have popped on contact. When asked about the sword in the post-match interview, the swordsman commented, "Yeah, I was given this not too long ago. I actually had never even picked up a sword before, until a strange angry doghouse had given it to me. It's almost like he was giving me the power to spite someone. I'm not sure to make of that ridiculous story, but if it is to be believed, keep an eye out for an all-powerful doghouse on the loose." Okay, that was a very interesting bulletin. We hope you've enjoyed this week's bulletin. Come back for bulletin number 22, where we will continue delivering news happening all across the world. Okay, I liked that one, but we're gonna start. It looks like someone with a saber-tooth necklace is eating a popsicle. Is that an ice popsicle? Like an ice fruit popsicle? I don't know. I'm not sure. The Blox Bulletin. Navigation made easier. Magma Village in turmoil. New skins on the horizon and more. No more sailing blind with a new map by your side. By Agorth Mortis. Who else has gotten lost at sea? Don't worry, it's natural after all. The sea is so vast that 97% of it has yet to be discovered by the world's renowned scientists. Between the reefs, my brain. I said rog. The reefs, fog banks, and terrifying ocean lurkers, keeping track of which directions I had already sailed was a nightmare. Thankfully, this is no longer a problem anyone has to deal with. The new navigational charts being handed out across the sea have completely changed how I explore. I can mark locations as I discover them. I've even managed to find my way back to that half-finished lead I abandoned 3 islands ago. So readers, keep an eye out for your own new and improved map making its way to you. If you ever felt like the world was too big to keep track of, it might now finally feel easier to navigate. Magma Village on edge. It kind of seems like they're just like drilling into the wall. Is he shooting? I gotta zoom in. Is he shooting in some type of orb? Some type of slime? Magma slime? And they're drilling that out? Okay, interesting. For as long as the most of resident for as long as most residents of Magma Village can remember, the soldiers stationed here have felt like less like occupying forces and more like neighbors. They ate at the same stalls, walked the same trails, and nodded at the same knots in passing. some of us had genuinely started to consider them part of the island's community. However, that good will be beginning to run out. In recent weeks, the military presence on the island oh my god, what am I doing? My brain hurts because what am I talking about? On the island. What's military presence on the island has swelled, and so has the excavation work tearing into the volcano's core. I've watched the residents be pushed further and further from their own homes, seen the ground shake more violently with each new drill, and witnessed families who once welcomed these soldiers with open arms start locking their doors instead. Nobody is saying it outright, but the peace here is starting to crack. Elemental creatures. So I'm guessing elemental creatures, that's what that weird looking slime is. Elemental creatures have begun to emerge from the volcano, once being long dormant within the magma. The creatures have even been seen fighting back against the military. It seems as though the island itself is pushing back against whatever is happening beneath it. What is buried down there that's worth risking a village's trust and possibly its safety? Nobody in the military is willing to answer that question at this point. However, it seems that somebody down there clearly wants it badly enough to find out the hard way. Okay, I'm guessing that Magma Island in First Sea is getting a rework. That's my best guess. If you ask me, it kind of does need a rework. Recolored and reforged, multiple new fruit variants have surfaced. By Susie Gatorlurch. Magnet fruit. I think that's hold on. It kind of looks like a gravity fruit. He's eating it. But based on the context, it might not be a gravity fruit. It might be a magnet fruit. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I exited the tab. Alright. Scientists across the seas have spent years attempting the impossible, trying to recreate the mystical properties of Blox roots in their own labs. They have been hoping to engineer variants of their own, while recolors have been made possible. It just feels like the world needs a little more. Most of the research has quietly stalled, not from a lack of effort, but because of something far more interesting has been discovered just recently. Multiple new fruit variants have surfaced in the wild, each carrying a fruit. I skipped the whole sentence. Each carrying a strikingly different appearance from the fruit they originate from, while the powers beneath them unmistakably familiar. Naturally, every lab that had been chasing synthetic recreations have dropped what they're doing to study the real thing instead. Keep an eye out for these variants to be open to the public soon. Okay, I like the sound of that. So new fruit variants, new fruit colors, not colors. I can't remember their name. I like the last year's one. They added Divine Portal. It kept on saying that Divine Portal never came out yet for some reason. But it got fixed, and now it says that it already came out. The uprise or decline of piratology. There's a chef, a fishman, two of these guys. What is that man holding? Is that okay? I know what that is. Why is there a broken drink on the floor? And there's a chef. That's what that looks like, a chef. Alright. I'm zooming in for this. I've never expected calm from a place called Pirate Village. But even by its own standards, things have gotten out of hand lately. It started small, treasure going missing, the usual grumbling you would expect in a place full of okay, I need to read faster so I don't make this video too long. Grumbling you'd expect in a place full of untrustworthy pirates. Then it's escalated. The windmill mechanisms that keep half of the island running got jammed deliberately by a group of brutes who seemed to think it was funny. When I stopped by the local pub to get a drink and ask a few questions, I found the bartender looking more rattled than I've ever seen him. Apparently, this group had visited more than once this week, and not for the ale. Alright. I think this is either a rework, a Pirate Village rework. But my question is, it keeps on saying I found the bartender. Who is this I? Who is this it? Who is this person? Who is this thing? Who is this? Is it the person that made this bulletin, part of the bulletin? Or Wendell Ashworth? Or is it just something else or someone else? That's a good question. Nobody I spoke to seemed to know who was behind the sudden spike in the chaos, or whether it was even one group at all. What I do know is that the pirate residents' patience is running thin, and they seem to have no intention of holding back if things continue to get worse. Will Pirate Village ever get a moment of peace? And that's all, folks. Thanks for reading this week's bulletin. Stay tuned for number 23. Number 23 coming out soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.